Let's move on to our final and last topic of our DAM focused updates, not saying DAM in that way, but saying DAM in digital asset management. And that is tied to advanced search. Advanced search is something that we've heard about. Lots of people have been asking for ways to improve the search functionality. Not to say it was broken, but there's lots of use cases that people have. Around customization specifically, they wanted ways to be able to customize the search around their specific needs, their specific organizations. We now have that. But as you can see, this is what it looked like before. We had about 3 to 4 fixed tabs of functionality for you to search, whether it's across metadata, format, size. We also had text-based search as well. But ultimately, all the values were fixed. There was no changing on the order. And also, if you wanted to do something more advanced, it wasn't necessarily available to you with this way, or at least not apparently available to you. So useful, but not customizable by any means. Now it is. It's much more fluid. It's much more flexible. This provides one list of dropdowns across your system, not 3 to 4 fixed values. It makes it much easier in that way to combine values for searches rather than thinking about what tabs you have to access and trying to do it in that way. And also, for those of you that are administrators, you can go into your preferences and customize the order and also the defaults that appear to your team. So your questions have been answered over many, many conversations with our product team to get it to where it is today. So hopefully you guys like this, the way that I'm going to demonstrate it. We're going to be showing you the access paths, and I'm going to show you some very cool searches and important searches that you can now do. So let's head on back and go to my media library. Now, the default view of our media library, as you can see, there's no advanced search right here. But for those of you who have this feature turned on, if I hit Search Media Library and click on Advanced Search, I'm now brought to that. And you can see that what that also means is that if I go to the base assets view of your media library with the new UI changes that are happening, then it will also display that advanced search. Also, if I go to collections now, I can do searches within the media library from that same space, and that advanced search is still also there too. Lots of great information that's available to you. But now that I have this, I can do lots of various types of search. I can do searches that are tied to just general text-based ones, and it's going to bring in data from all sorts of places. As you can see, I've typed plate, and I'm getting images and videos that might have plate as part of its public ID, its file name within our system. It might have it as tags. Depending on how I've manipulated the search, maybe it would be also able to pull structured metadata and bring that through. But also notice it brings over partial searches too. So if I look at some of these landscape photos that I have here, I can see that one of the tags that happens to be on this is plateau. And notice the word plate, P-L-A-T-E, happens to be part of plateau. So even if your users don't get the full word in there, they still will receive it in search results. Kind of a nice feature when it comes to text. But then you can always tie text and any of these dropdowns, or only the dropdowns, to searches. So if I said, okay, I'm looking for pictures that contain the word plate, and let me make sure I'm saying pictures when I say pictures, because I can choose it from asset types, only show me images, not videos, not audio, not raw files. I can also say only show me things in specific folders, such as my folder of products, apparel, and weighted vests. And then I can get more and more precise, saying, okay, show me everything that has the tag of rope. And now I got the exact picture that I need to use for my next project, because it contains all of those values. So it makes it a lot easier to search across your overall system. And if you're seeing a certain type that's not available, you can always add more, because as you can see, I have custom filters, which are tied from my structured metadata, as well as other ones that are standard or that I've recently used. So lots of features are tied to this. We also have tied with advanced search 2 other aspects to it. One that's in beta that I will show you today, that's called visual search. And this is using extremely powerful neural network of knowledge. And this is where I can go ahead and search across all of my assets and type in certain types of terms to get what I want out of it. So if I type in the word cat, it's going to be looking for things not based on the metadata, not based on the tags, just looking at what assets I have in my system. And sure enough, all of these are pictures of cats. But if I go ahead and start diving into some of these different images here, like this one, notice my public ID is indecipherable, does not say the word cat. And if I look at the tags, there's no tags here, there's no structured metadata, but it was still able to recognize it was a cat because it has gone through hundreds, if not thousands, of pictures of cats and figure out what cats look like and is able to provide it through search this way. So if you're struggling with metadata and tags, not to say this should be a crutch, but it is to say this is a cool feature. And also, if you are doing advanced work, you can actually build out query expressions using the same query expressions that are used with our search API to be able to go and find specific images with and clauses, or clauses, and many other Boolean types of clauses that are able to be used. So for those of you that are more advanced or developers that are actively using our search API, there's a way that you can get a user interface that's tied to that. And also our preferences allow for you to update all of the filters, as well as to determine whether you want to include structured metadata and embedded metadata now in your global searches, which are only set by DAM administrators. So as we're saying, there's many ways to get to this overall content. And hopefully you're saying, I can see why this is better than what we used to have.